Come live your best life at Eastridge Residence.
Now that spring is here, if you were like me, you are eager to get out there and work in the yard, get all your flowers planted for the upcoming bloom season ahead. But if you have pets at home, no doubt you want to make sure you're doing it the safe way for them. So it's a great time for us to welcome in Dr. Randy Hammon from Northgate Animal Hospital, giving us the ABCs of how to keep that yard beautiful but safe at the same time. Good to see you this morning.
Oh, great to be here, Julie.
You know, I was a pet owner, I will admit, for a long time before I really thought about the plants I planted. I know fertilizers and things to watch for, but I hadn't thought about certain plants being a danger for dogs and cats.
And a lot of times people don't really think about that. And I would recommend as you select your landscaping to be aware of that. And probably some areas where the pets aren't going to be, it's not as big of a challenge. But things that we don't think about, like tulips and hyacinthas, those are toxic to pets if they're, eating the leaves, things along those lines. I'm really concerned about those if you bring those inside the house, and the cat's chewing on the leaves. And a lot of people don't even think about the daffodils, and, they can cause vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, respiratory distress, things that we don't think about. And probably one of the biggest challenges we have, are the lilies. And the peace lily, Peruvian lilies, calla lilies, those cause a lot of mouth irritation and so forth. But things like tiger lilies, Easter lilies, Japanese show lilies, those can actually be fatal, especially to cats. So it is a situation where we have the advantage of just being able to grab our phones, pull it up in whatever plant you're looking at, ask if it's toxic to the dogs or cats, and that can make your plant selection a lot safer around the house.
Okay, let me ask you something though. I'm going to play devil's advocate for a minute because I've had cats for a long time, and I have a peace lily at my house that I've had for 26 years, I think. So do animals just kind of know somewhat instinctively what to avoid?
Yeah, and some may, or quite frankly, your cat may have nibbled on a leaf and it didn't end well, because the peace lilies aren't as toxic, but they will cause mouth irritation and so forth. So early on, your cat just may have learned, hey, I'm going to chew on something else now. And quite frankly, some cats are bigger chewers than others. So sometimes it can be more or less of a threat, just depending on the individual cat. But obviously, your cat's got it figured out. And if you have that peace lily in there, I think the threat level to your cat is really low. Now, if you got a brand new kitten, then the cycle may start again.
All right. So let's say that you are not a pet owner, but your neighbors have pets, and cats are prone to wander if they're outside cats. If you wanted to plant some of these things, should you then include in your bed some deterrents for the cats to not get in there?
Yeah, you could. We see a lot less of the landscaping and challenges with the cats traveling into the neighbor's yard. It's usually a high concentration of plants where it lives and so forth. And I don't know of anything from a deterrent standpoint that works. I think sometimes it's on an individual basis, but I don't think there's a slam dunk out there that ends up deterring the pets. And and even as you set up talking about your outside landscaping, Julie, you want to be aware of the mulches you use. They're, back a number of years ago, cocoa mulch was really popular because it smelled like chocolate, and quite frankly, it's got some chocolate characteristics in it. The pets would eat those and could create a toxic episode, and your dog end up at the emergency clinic. And then just when you're setting up your landscaping boundaries, like your ryerson edging, the edgings and so forth you put up, just be aware of sharp corners and so forth, especially if it's close to doorways where the pets are running in and out. And we've had pets come in with cut pads, where they, they're flying in and out of the house and accidentally step on the edging. So really, as you create your landscape design for people and pets, you want to be aware of sharp edgings and what kind of mulches and so forth you're using.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, what about on the fertilizers or the weed preventions? Do those need to be something that you watch for too?
Those are two great topics. The fertilizers, are certain fertilizers that are made of bone meal and blood meal, and the flowers grow really well in those. You'll have to look. It's just built into the ingredients. And then sometimes the pets want to eat those, and they can have gastric obstructions, basically get constipated to the point to where, they have to have procedures or surgery. Some of those can cause pancreatitis in dogs, can end up being an issue. So you want to use fertilizers that don't make your pets want to eat it. And I think the dogs are more of a challenge with that than the cats are. And then, when it comes to the pesticides and insecticides, read the labels. Once those are diluted, most of those are fairly safe to be around the pets. However, if the pets get into them in the concentrated form, that can be a real problem because they'll absorb things through their feet. So if you're spraying the yard, make sure the yard's dry before the pets are back out. And if you're doing the granules, make sure those granules have been wetted down and have soaked into the ground. So the concentration is our challenge. If the pets get into concentrated product, or if they get out into the area before it's either dried or you've wetted it, the granules down to where the pets aren't picking those up.
Okay, I never thought about it coming through their feet. That's good to know. And before I let you run, is there anything, Randy, that we could have on hand as like an antidote or something in the event that our dogs or cats get into something?
I think that dilution is the solution, and we hear that in the workplace a lot of times. So if you feel like your pet has gotten into something outside, with the fertilizers or the insecticides, rinse the pet off, immediately. And a lot of times that ends up, making a lot of sense. And then if you do see mouth irritation or just something that's not right, some of these toxins can be several days before they actually manifest themselves.
Okay.
Reach out to your veterinarian or to one of the emergency facilities and just cover the bases. There is board certified veterinary toxicologist that you can call on the veterinary side, like there is on the human side. It's not government funded. There is a fee for that, but a lot of times that's money well spent, to call the pet poison control line.
Okay. All right. That AstroTurf yard's looking better and better, I think. Randy, thank you so much for your time this morning. You can find Dr. Randy Hammon and his brother, Dr. Jim Hammon, at Northgate Animal Hospital on Hammel Road in Hickson. Online, it's northgateanimalhospital.com, or just call them, 875-9033. Thanks, Randy.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
Register your child to escape to nature this summer. Reflection Riding's Outdoor Summer Day Camp is the best in Chattanooga for ages 5 through 14. Immersive, educational fun to keep your camper happy and active. Scan the QR code now to sign up.
In Chattanooga, we celebrate life.